What happens when a man who has everything decides that the woman he loves should have nothing of her own? What happens when a successful businessman, blinded by pride, forces his wife to give up her dream, only to discover that the woman he tried to cage was born to fly? This is the story of Kenneth Okwara, the man everyone admired, and Amara, the woman who gave up her dreams for love, only to realize that love without freedom is another name for prison. The sun was setting over Lagos, and the city buzzed with the noise of impatient drivers and hawkers chasing the last sales of the day. But inside the glass towers of Victoria Island, one name was on everyone's lips: Kenneth Okwara. At 38 years, Kenneth had achieved what most men only dreamt of. His logistics company had grown from a single borrowed truck to a fleet of hundreds, moving vehicles across the country. His face appeared in business magazines, his speeches quoted in newspapers, banks courted him, politicians wanted his handshake, and young men called him a role model. But apart from money, Kenneth loved control. He liked things done his way. His employees, his friends, and most importantly, his family. Kenneth met Amara at a friend's wedding. Unlike other women who fluttered around him, dazzled by his wealth, Amara was different. She was elegant but simple, dressed in a plain peach gown, her hair neatly packed. But what caught Kenneth was not her beauty, it was her mind. When someone at the table complained about Nigeria's weak economy, Amara leaned forward and with quite a confidence she explained inflation, trade imbalances, and the role of government policies. Kenneth stared at her, fascinated by her intelligence. Later that evening, he whispered to his friend, "That woman will be my wife. She's too smart to waste in the rat race. A queen like that deserves to be protected, not stressed." Amara was a graduate of economics, finishing top of her class. She dreamt of working as a financial analyst and perhaps one day becoming a director in the central bank. But Kenneth, with his wealth and charm, had another plan. Their courtship was fast, intense, and romantic. Kenneth spoiled her with flowers, surprise trips, and endless promises. "Amara," he said one evening over dinner at a rooftop restaurant, "I've built enough wealth for both of us. You don't need to suffer like other women, rushing to catch buses, fighting traffic, stressing over salaries. I want you to be free, free to take care of me and our children." Amara hesitated. "But Kenneth, I worked hard for my degree. I want to build something of my own," she said. Kenneth reached across the table, holding her hand. His voice softened. "And you will, my queen. You will build a family, a home filled with peace and love. Isn't that more important than chasing deadlines?" Love blinded her, and she said yes. Their wedding was grand. It was the talk of the town, with guests from all corners of society. Amara's friend envied her. Marrying one of the most successful men in Lagos. "You are so lucky," they whispered. "You will never suffer again." At first, marriage felt like a fairy tale. Their mansion in Lekki was beautiful. Kenneth provided everything: cars, clothes, luxury holidays abroad. Amara devoted herself to the home, raising their two children, Ada and Chima, with love and care. Kenneth would come home from business trips to find a spotless house, warm meals, and a wife waiting with open arms. To outsiders, they were the perfect couple. But deep inside, Amara felt an emptiness. Amara's degree lay forgotten in a drawer. Her sharp mind dulled as days melted into endless routine. Cooking, cleaning, school runs, hosting Kenneth's guests, and also attending business meetings and dinners with him. At first, she ignored the emptiness inside her. This is love, she told herself. This is sacrifice. Anything for my family. But whenever she read about her former classmates becoming managers, consultants, or directors, she felt a stab of regret. One afternoon, she saw an old friend on TV being interviewed about women in leadership. Amara clutched the remote tightly, whispering, "This could have been me. This could have been me." When she suggested to Kenneth that she might like to take a short contract job, his face hardened. "Amara, I said no. You don't need to work. Do you want people to think I can't provide for my wife? My success is enough for the both of us." And just like that, her dream was silenced again. The cracks in their marriage began with words. Whenever Kenneth was angry, he reminded her of her dependence on him. "Without me, you'd be nothing, Amara. You don't earn. You don't build. Everything you enjoy comes from my sweat." At first, she cried in silence. Then she learned to hide her tears. The breaking point came during a high-profile dinner. Kenneth, boasting to a group of investors, laughed and said, "This is my wife. She doesn't work. She just enjoys the money I make. Isn't that every woman's dream?" Kenneth laughed. Amara forced a smile, but her heart shattered. That night, standing before her mirror, she whispered, "Who am I? What have I become?" Amara decided she could no longer live like this. Late at night, when Kenneth slept, she pulled out her laptop. She began to study again. Finance courses, market reports, and economic trends. She reignited the fire inside her. Then she started writing articles anonymously online about the Nigerian economy, inflation, and investment strategies. People loved them. Her posts went viral, and within months, she was invited by an international finance magazine to contribute under her real name. Amara hesitated, but then she remembered that laugh at the dinner, the humiliation she faced, and she said yes. When Kenneth found out, he was furious. He returned home early one afternoon to find Amara on a video call with a foreign investor. She spoke with confidence. Her words were sharp and intelligent. Kenneth's pride burned. His ego was bruised. "What is this, Amara? Who gave you permission to do this?" he asked. Amara stood tall, her voice calm but firm. "I gave myself permission. I am educated. I am intelligent. I refuse to waste my life in silence." Kenneth's voice rose. "You are embarrassing me. You are making people think I can't provide for you and the family." But this time, Amara did not tremble. She had found her voice. Kenneth had never felt so threatened his entire life. He had been the provider, the decision maker, the man people looked up to. But now, his wife, his own wife, was becoming a star in her own right. At first, he tried to stop her gently. "Amara, please," he said one night. "I don't like this. People will laugh at me. They will say Kenneth's wife is chasing fame because her husband doesn't give her enough." Amara shook her head. "No, Kenneth. They will say Kenneth's wife is brilliant. They will see that we are both strong. Isn't that a good thing?" But Kenneth didn't see it that way. As her popularity grew, he became harsher. He refused to attend her events. He ignored her achievements. Sometimes, in anger, he locked her laptop away, thinking that would stop her. But Amara was determined. She found ways to keep working, writing articles on her phone, borrowing her sister's laptop, even sneaking out to cyber cafes. For the first time in their marriage, Kenneth realized he could no longer control her. Amara's work spread beyond Nigeria. She was invited to speak at a women's conference in South Africa. Her speech about women and economic growth in Africa went viral. Clips of her standing boldly on stage, speaking with passion and clarity, flooded the internet. International organizations began to call her. Banks wanted her as a consultant. A university in the UK offered her a fellowship. Meanwhile, Kenneth's empire faced challenges. A competitor had entered the logistics market with cheaper rates. A government policy threatened contracts. Slowly, his once stable business began to wobble. He needed Amara's support more than ever, but her attention was no longer only on him. One evening, Kenneth sat alone in his office, staring at the newspaper. On the front page was Amara, smiling at the international summit beside world leaders. The headline read, "Nigeria businesswoman become global voice in finance." Kenneth clenched his fist. That should have been me. The spotlight, the admiration, the respect. He had always been the star. Now, people were calling him Amara's husband. That night, when Amara returned from her trip, Kenneth confronted her. "Do you see what you've done? You've made me small in my own house. Everywhere I go, people talk about you, not me. Do you want to destroy me?" Amara looked at him calmly and replied, "Kenneth, I never wanted to destroy you. I only wanted to be myself. You promised to love me, but love is not control. Love is freedom." For a moment, Kenneth had no word. Deep inside, he knew she was right, but pride silenced him. Their home became a battlefield. Kenneth avoided her events. Amara stopped waiting for his approval. The children noticed the tension. Dinners were quiet. Laughter was rare. Then came the day Kenneth snapped. Amara was preparing for a trip to London, invited to speak at a global finance forum. Kenneth blocked the door. "You will not go," he said firmly. Amara looked at him, fire in her eyes. "Kenneth, when I gave up my dreams for you, I trusted you. I believed you when you said you would protect me. But you didn't protect me. You caged me. Now I have found myself again, and nothing, I said nothing, not even you, will stop me." For the first time, Kenneth saw a woman he could not bend. A woman who had outgrown his control. He moved aside, and Amara walked past him, her head held high. As Amara rose higher, Kenneth's business crumbled further. Bad deals, failed contracts, and reckless decisions dragged him down. His arrogance had made him ignore advice, and now he paid the price. One morning, he sat in his office, staring at unpaid bills. For the first time in years, he felt fear. When he returned home that night, he found Amara working late on her laptop. For a moment, he just stood there, watching her. She looked confident, determined, alive, and the woman he had once fallen in love with. And suddenly, it hit him. He had tried to kill her light because he was afraid it would outshine his own. Kenneth broke down in tears. "Amara," he whispered one night, his voice trembling, "I was wrong. I thought I was protecting you, but I was only protecting my pride, protecting my ego. I tried to silence you because I was afraid, but the truth is, you are stronger, stronger than I even imagined." Tears filled Amara's eyes. She had waited years for those words. "Do you really mean that, Kenneth?" "Yes," he said. "Without you, this house is just walls. Without your fire, I am nothing." Amara touched his hand. "Kenneth, I never wanted to compete with you. I wanted to stand beside you. I wanted us to be partners, but you wanted a servant instead of a wife. I cannot go back to that life." Kenneth nodded slowly. For the first time, he understood. In time, Kenneth changed. He began to support Amara's career, attending her conferences, cheering her speeches. Slowly, their love healed. Amara, in turn, used her influence to help Kenneth rebuild his business, this time with wisdom and humility. Together, they became a power couple, admired not just for their wealth, but for their story of struggle, growth, and love.